everybody. It's been a minute, been a hot minute since we've been on. Welcome to the show. Things are going to get back to normal here now that, as everybody I'm sure has heard, or if you haven't, Grizzly had a widowmaker heart attack and he is recovering. Please send continued prayers for that. But he's back to doing shows, and so now we're able to get back to scheduling some shows. So it's good to be back. We are going to actually add a show as well coming up. So Grizzly announced this the other night, so it's okay for me to talk about it. As people know, that most people know, I've been lifting since I was 14 years old. I've been a personal trainer since the late 80s. Like when Ace was one of the first ones to be personal trainers, I happened to be in that. And so we got 40 years in the gym, and with all the misinformation out there and issues with trying to decipher it, what works, what doesn't work, supplements and peptides and the GLP-1s for diabetes and weight loss, now we are going to be I'm going to be putting that all into layman's terms for people. So on tentatively right now, scheduled on Friday nights before this show, we're going to be doing kind of a barbershop body talk. And so if you have questions, be thinking of them, because we will be answering questions. We will be answering workout questions, nutrition questions, supplement questions, all the above. I'm not a doctor. I'm just the average Joe person on the internet who just happens to have 40 years and has had a driven passion for helping people with, disabilities, with injuries, with rehabilitation. Um, I've been at this a long time and know how to take the studies and break them down. And the beauty of what we're going to do is we're not selling you anything. So if, it's an unbiased opinion, and you can do with it what you will. So with that, let's say hi to everybody. Lenny, good to see you. Yeah, and that was quite the crowd in that other show earlier. That's a lot of familiar names. Sorry, I'll get rid of the glare when I'm done. Good to see you. And Maria Castro, good to see you. Roger's here. Roger says, hey, howdy, Brian and Leonard. So we'll let people roll in a little bit. But finally, what we're going to do is Roger saying hello, or I'm sorry, Lenny saying hello to Roger, is we are going to wrap up the UFO, Bigfoot, and biblical series we're doing. And to do that, Linda Thompson's here. Hello. We're going to bring David Walker out. We've been unfortunately having to reschedule, but it is time to get this information out there. And David's been waiting so patiently. He's being kind enough to come out and share it now. So everybody, welcome back, David Walker, in his new place with his new internet.
I'm ready to go, sir. We got a good one for all the people tonight.
All right.
So ready to crank out. I just asked everybody to bear with me. My voice isn't full throttle, but I'll do the best I can for you. I can promise you that.
Excellent. We're looking forward to it. Get rid
Yes.
of these. And so we're going to have we got a couple more people. Judy, how you doing? Good to see you. Uh-oh. Want any glasses forward? Oceans are blue. Hello. So, Mr. David,
Excuse me.
you give us a first half recap and then we're going to wrap this up.
Amen. Amen. We're ready to go.
All right. So where were we, my friend?
Okay, we as Brian said, this will probably be our last show of the series of all these, the origin of these creatures people see at night, like Bigfoot, Dog Man, Mothman, Frog Man. Uh, Maybe I guess there's been some giants. People have even seen some giants. We know the 2002 more giants, giants in North America, giants in the Solomon Islands, giants in Antarctica. We got the whole bit and show tonight. We're gonna talk about these things a little bit more, but again, I want people to understand the origin of these beings stem from time and there. If you're the Bible, we have shows about Genesis 6, 1 through 4, and the sons of God, the mighty men of old, the men of renown. We're talking Greek mythology, and the stories are all exactly true, but we're perhaps the beings in the story themselves are true. We believe that there's, kernel truth in there. Some of them stories, some of them beings like Atlas, Hercules, Zeus, and some of the never really lost in mythology. But I do know some of them from studying my passage here for my book. So that what that bit of mom.
David, I need you to move.
They say I'm up up.
His internet was working
So
perfect earlier, folks.
is it all right?
It was really horrible. I don't know what happened.
Well, be
Beginning to think somebody doesn't want us to finish this show.
with these. Is it okay right now? My break right now.
Nope, we're still fishing.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1.
Nope. Oh, we lost him. I'm beginning to think somebody doesn't want us to finish this show, folks. Oh, this was the main plan. Hopefully David gets back. Hopefully he finds a good spot in the house. Originally, we thought this was just he forgot to turn his router on, but we may be in for more of an issue after all. But there's been, there's been all kinds of news in the Bigfoot world. Where do we want to start talking about it? I haven't talked to people in a long time. So think about the other show coming up, though. Starting next week. Like I said, it'll be kind of a wellness thing. We'll be talking about workouts. We'll be doing, if you put your name in the comments, we'll do a consultation personal workout just to show gratitude for members. And any questions you can think of. If there's supplements out there, like the first topic I'm going to really hammer home on will be about the GLP-1s. You've got your semaglutide, trizipatide. They've got the new peptide, retatrutide. and we're going to go over which one works, which one doesn't, side effects, and things like that. So if anybody has any questions about those, think about them. And, you know, hopefully Mike Scott's going to be coming back pretty quick. I know things are busy. Everybody's busy right now with deer hunting season and stuff like this. Twisted, he showed up, but he is having huge internet problems at the moment. It was working fine. We talked for probably 20 minutes before the show, and then all of a sudden we started talking about how we were going to wrap it up, and things went south from there. But it's good to see people. Watching on Facebook. It's good to have you here. So while David's trying to fix his issues, we can turn around and discuss pretty much anything that's going on in the world right now. I know we do the Bigfoot thing. You know, actually, it'd be kind of fun. A little twisted. Yep, no problem. Let's have a little fun. Try to stall a little bit. Heather Monroe, my dear little, we'll call her adopted sister. Good to see you. Glad you joined. We're trying to get David in here so we can wrap up our series on. Not on YouTube? Yikes. They had this problem the other night where things weren't showing up on YouTube and it only aired on Facebook. So maybe that's the problem and why we only got 2 viewers. I honestly don't know how to fix that. Is anybody else? It looks like I see people from YouTube in here though. Let's see. Let's try adding David back to the stage. There's Dave. There goes Dave. All right. Till we get Dave fixed, let's ask Chat GPT some questions. Let's see what Chat GPT thinks about Bigfoot. Is Bigfoot real? You know, we'll ask the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-creative Chat GPT. Oh, this is going to be comical already. We got comic gold here, folks. I wish we had Matt Rife in the audience to rip on this. So the honest answer to is Bigfoot real is there's no confirmed scientific evidence. Here's the breakdown. No verified bones, bodies, DNA, or clear photos. Obviously never seen the Patterson-Gimlin film. Many hair samples sent to labs turned out to be bears, elks, wolves, cows, or humans. Guess what? There was also some that came back as unidentified primate. ChatGPT don't know pizza. CHIT will emphasize there. Tracks are often hoaxes or misidentified animal prints. I bet I can counter that. Wait, David's back there. Let's see if we can get David on. How we doing, David?
I'm doing good. Do you have a copy of me now, or
Yeah, it's still not a good thing
am
going.
I doing okay? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Right now I can.
Okay. Give me a second here to get my notes. I'm in a different spot.
Okay, folks, cross your fingers. If not, we'll keep talking smack. So I know I can pull out. Where is it? Nope. We're not inviting anybody. Where's
Okay. I'm ready here now. Can you hear me okay?
It's pretty broken and you're frozen at the moment.
Not.
Man, I don't think the internet wants us to finish this, Dave. We got something going on here.
I mean, I got internet in my house. Everything's working fine. My friend, she does some internet stuff on her phone, and I didn't think there's going to be any trouble.
Let me see something here.
I might have the.
Yeah, I didn't understand half of what you said there. What the heck?
Okay. How about now? Is there okay?
The audio's good.
Okay.
And he's gone in a flash. So I'm going to disprove no good pictures of prints by showing this image file. Where are we at? Looking for that picture. Well, here's one from Mike Scott. This is a good one. I mean, there's an 11-inch Mike Scott found, so, you know, that looks fairly decent. We also have this picture. So if anybody's watching on YouTube, can you comment and let me know if we're broadcasting on there? Or if everybody's watching Facebook. Let's see. We are here somewhere. So anyway, what else does ChatBT had to say? Why people still believe? So I don't know about, I know there's several people in here that the reason why we believe is because we've seen him. So why else would people believe? Thousands of eyewitness reports across North America. Okay, that sounds accurate. First thing they said that makes sense. Consistent description, 6 to 9 feet tall, wide shoulders, long arms, flat face, dark hair. Some remote forest areas are so vast that large animals could remain elusive. Think of how long the mountain gorillas were dismissed as myth. So basically, ChatGPT is now arguing with itself. Most likely explanations. Misidentified bears. Yes, I've actually seen that. Well, Linda must be able to see me on Facebook. Nice glasses. Thank you. Is it impossible Bigfoot exists? No, it's not impossible. Many scientists say the possibility is extremely low. Bullcrap. Large primates existed in the past. Gigantopithecus, we know that. What's your take? Do you lean more toward yes or no, possibly based on the Bigfoot content you explore? So let's say yes. I believe, and ChatGPT says that's totally valid and you're far from alone. Many people who study the subject seriously believe Bigfoot exists. Holly, how you doing? Does anybody else notice that the YouTube is for some reason showing your username instead of your tag? So if I don't see you right off the bat, please don't be mad, but it's showing your actual YouTube ID instead of the name. I noticed that tonight when I was in chat with people, like Holly's is up here. So good to see you, Holly. Good luck tomorrow. By the way, Holly is getting ready to compete. I do believe this is the meet where she can qualify for nationals powerlifting. If everybody remembers, Holly is my coworker who Michelle's not seeing it tonight either. Let's try making a comment in here. Because I'm trying to say hi to people. Folks, this is StreamYard. Grizzly and Mary were having issues the other night as well. Because, believe it or not, I'm not technically the best. That's when you've seen. I've gone live with Talking to Dead Air before. So my technical prowess is less than stellar. And I don't know how to find people live on Facebook, but I know for sure they were able to. The show is airing on Facebook. I see some people commenting, but then I see other people with no shows as well. So hopefully this is going out. If not, it'll be re-uploaded and be able to watch the replay. That's what Grizzly did with the last podcast. So we definitely got to get StreamYard figured out, or StreamYard needs to get themselves figured out, because there's all these changes. If you guys saw my screen compared to what it normally is, it's goofy. So anyway, I told ChatGPT I believe in Bigfoot. Here are the strongest points in favor of Bigfoot being real from a believer's perspective. So ChatGPT is now going to tell us believers why we have credibility, apparently. Some tracks show mid-tarsal breaks, a flexible foot like apes have, dermal ridges, skin texture, weight distribution consistent with an extremely heavy biped. These are extremely hard to fake. Exactly. That's what most people forget about tracks when they see them, is the depth, and if the toes splay or not when they walk. Those are things that rule out people walking around. Everybody thinks people are walking around in those either barefoot shoes, which I have found tracks of those, and kind of got fooled for a minute till you see the tread in the toes. But also, people think they're walking around in wood cutouts, and they don't understand that when a Bigfoot walks, the track is the same depth. Other than the heel might be a little different, and where the toes dig in might be a little different, but it's distributed through the whole foot. When you walk around with a cutout, all the weight's on the heel, so the toes don't really show that well, and there's no way to flex that foot when you come up. So a lot of people have to dig out the cutout in order to make that print look legit, and then they spend a lot of time trying to dig out where the print is to make it look deep, but at the same time make it look real. So they're spending way too much time. They need to have a better hobby than trying to fake some of this stuff. More reason why witnesses are, as it says, in favor of Bigfoot being real. Eyewitness is consistent around the world, and that's important to remember, because even before the internet, every continent except Antarctica had similar reports, and they didn't have communication in order to turn around and tell people, yet when people would travel from country to country and continent to continent, they all had very similar descriptions of an upright biped, human-like features, shaggy fur coat, and enormous feet, obviously. So, yeah, there's people that want attention. They want that 5 minutes of fame. Like, let's see if we still got this lovely gem up here. Let's see. Oh, no. There's one of my footprints, actually. Not my footprint. One of the big tracks Linda and I found. As you can see, the outline of the toes in the middle of the pictures. And finally, after talking to people, I couldn't figure out why it would leave a print in the leaves without everything else being disturbed. And the way it was explained to me, because a individual that left that print is so heavy, it literally grinds the leaves and the rocks, pushes them down, which is why when we walk down this, it's not quite cobblestone, but I think they call it creek stone or something like that road, you can see where it looks like dirt, but what it is actually from is the creatures are so heavy that they push the rocks down into the dirt. So that's where some of these prints come from. And as far as the eyewitnesses being consistent worldwide, ChatGPT descriptions are remarkably similar, even from people who don't know each other, come from different countries, have nothing to gain. That consistency suggests people are seeing something. So, audio evidence, these are always my favorite. I mean, Sierra sounds all day long, baby. Calls and howls recorded in remote areas. Sierra sounds is actually named by ChatGPT. The vocal ranges are outside the human capability, meaning we're not going to be able to fake it, folks, especially before all these synthesizers and blowhorns and everything else. Non-bear format patterns. Some researchers and audio experts say that sounds don't match known animals. So if it doesn't match any known animal or any possible animal, then you're left with the impossible. So that's where we're at. And what's another reason ChatGPT says maybe things are possible? Huge areas, habitat is vast and underexplored. Huge areas of the Pacific Northwest, Canada, Alaska, Appalachians are rarely visited by humans. Large wildlife can stay hidden. Think of mountain lions. Plenty of people never see one in their lifetime. So I agree. And another very important factor is the fact that all the historical and indigenous accounts. So, Native Americans have long histories describing tall, hairy forest people, often with details similar to modern sightings. This goes back centuries and across many tribes. And every tribe has their own version of it, just like every area has their own uh, nickname for it. You've got wood boogers, you've got grassman, you've got uh, what else? You got Australia's Yowie. You have, I'm trying to think who else in the United States. There's some doozies out there. Grassman makes me think of Cheech and Chong, sorry, but that's just what it does. Is Bigfoot real? What version do you think is most likely? So we're going to play, Ask Chat GPT tonight. What do we think Bigfoot is? A surviving ape? A type of primitive human or hominid? Something more unusual, paranormal, or interdimensional? And as everybody knows, I am open to everything, but I do tend to lean toward flesh and blood with unknown abilities. Okay, so we will say a type of primitive human with extra ordinary abilities like telepathy. To which ChatGPT is going to respond, oh, big surprise. That's actually one of the most interesting Bigfoot theories, and is taken seriously by more researchers and people than you realize. I can walk you through it in a grounded way that respects your belief without claiming anything as proven. So ChatGPT decided to be nice to me. So we're going to, it's not trying to instigate me so that I delete it off my phone. Bigfoot as a primitive human with unusual abilities. Many investigators believe Bigfoot could be a relic hominin, a cousin species, not an ape. Something like Homo, I'm going to butcher this, Heidelbergensis, Denisovans, or another unknown branch that survived in remote theories. Why this theory appeals to so many researchers. Eyewitnesses describe a face that looks more human than ape, which I've only caught a quick glimpse of, and that's what I thought. Their gait and behavior often matches humans more than animals. I think they do walk on 2 feet more than most monkeys do, but I think they are quite comfortable walking on all fours, and tend to do it probably more when they're running because they're able to generate more power with 4 wheels than 2. Some encounters involve intelligence, planning, and awareness beyond normal wildlife. What about telepathy? So let's see what ChatGPT has about telepathy. We're going to argue with ChatGPT tonight. This falls under what researchers call the mind speak phenomenon. Hundreds of witnesses, many of them credible outdoorsmen, report the same things. Reported extra abilities, not proven scientifically, but deeply consistent in the accounts. Telepathic impressions or messages. People claim they heard Bigfoot communicate without words, often warnings like do not come closer. The closest experience I have, and I said when I retell my story of my first sighting, was once the Bigfoot and I locked eyes. This was dark. All I could see was eye shine. And I reached over to hit the horn. My hand got about halfway down on the horn, like I was slapping it like the press your luck button. And then I stopped because I don't know if it was my gut or if I was being told, if you hit that horn, it's going to be a really bad day for you. So I instantly froze with my hand halfway down above the horn and just kept staring at it for another few seconds. And then it just slowly turned to its left, stepped over the guardrail, and was gone. Now, was that mind speak, or was that just whatever you want to call intuition, gut feeling? I don't know. I don't know how to, it's not like we had a two-way conversation, and I lean more toward it was gut instinct, don't do it. Like a kid in a candy store, you're reaching for that piece of candy while the cashier's not looking. Your tummy's telling you to do it, and your mind's going, it's not a good idea. And then when you get caught, it's a really bad idea. So the other things with telepathy, a feeling of being watched or mentally pinged. I can tell you that most of the people I talk to get that, where you're walking, everything goes quiet, and then all of a sudden the hair goes up on your neck, and you feel like you're being watched. And there's even, sorry, we'll get rid of that print. I even got a selfie because I felt like I was being watched. And to me, it looks like, I'll open this picture for anybody who can see it. For the people that are listening audibly, there's no red circles on here, folks. Some people are going to be proud. But in the center of the picture, it's black and white. There's some birch trees and other trees. And there are 2 distinct black looking trees. And in between the two trees, about a third of the way down in the picture, you can see what looks like to be something with a sloped forehead, a big brow ridge, two black eye sockets, and a nose. And it looks like it's standing sideways and with its body mostly sideways with its head looking directly at me. And the only reason I got this picture again was because I took it selfie style. So following up, camera facing me, I'm looking toward the opposite direction, which is why I think it was following me. I mean, I knew I was being watched, and to me, that photo proves it. So the other things ChatGPT have to say is a feeling of being watched or mentally pinched, as if the creature is aware of your thoughts and intentions, which I kind of believe they do. After a while, it's no different than when, people who, I'm a little on the empath side, but everybody, when people walk into a room, unless you are totally oblivious, you will tend to kind of get a feel of if they're in a bad mood, if they're in a good mood. Some people are very hard to read. Some people have, their guard up so that they don't um, have a tell, as they would say in poker. Sudden fear or emotion that comes over you that isn't your own. Some say Bigfoot can project calm, fear, or curiosity. Unexpected silence or environmental shift, as if the creature can influence its surroundings. These reports are so consistent that even skeptical researchers admit they're hard to dismiss. And the beauty of it is they were consistent way before social media. Now, if you were to say that and these things started popping up, it would be one of those things where you could say, well, he saw it on TikTok, or they saw it on Facebook, or they saw it on Instagram, they saw it on X, they saw it on YouTube, they saw it. I mean, there are so many now, and they all have the shorts and the reels, and this predates all that. And yet they still have the same, very similar experiences. And they actually have, if you watch Justin Decker's show, Down the Rabbit Hole, proved, telepathy is a thing, that it is demanding more research into figuring out how it works, because I believe it was the Smithsonian and a few more well-renowned, scientific groups got together and did experiments with people. And you'll have to go back and watch Justin's show, prayers to Justin Decker, by the way. Justin Decker's show, Down the Rabbit Hole. It's in the Outlaw playlist here. And check out telepathy. They have had instances of actually scientifically proving it, and to the point of that it demands more research. They're not all in, but they are partially in. So it is a thing. So if we can do it, why wouldn't a Bigfoot be able to do it? Especially if you go toward what I think, where it's somewhere in between a human and ape, flesh and blood being with, other abilities. Scientists believe early humans also may have had it: stronger nonverbal communication, heightened intuitive senses, better awareness of others' intentions, stronger survival-based pattern recognition. So telepathy might be a form of intuitive communication, body language and micro expressions we don't notice consciously, which part of the FBI training Grizzly will tell you is, and I'm sure all other aspects of government have their own specialists for reading micro expressions and things like that. It's also could be an evolved sensory ability lost over time, which we know with fluoride and everything closing down certain aspects of your brain. Some people still retain it and some people don't, which is why, we've got Kelly Joe and Angela on here and Inbal that are very accurate. Angela on her show has read me a couple times. Kelly Jo read me a couple times, and Kelly Jo predicted things that came true down the line. And they were very specific. They weren't general, like you're going to have a birthday. They were much more specific than that. 3 basic major camps, on my view, fits a very real branch of Bigfoot research. Ape theory, primitive human theory, your view, and one of the strongest, and paranormal interdimensional theory. Primitive human theory also explains the intelligence, the stealth, vocalization range, human-like face, emotional presence, and possible mind speak. Now, here we go. ChatGPT is asking me a question. Do you think telepathy is? I wish you two was you can we do a poll on this. Maybe we'll do that one night with this. We'll do polls for questions. Do you think telepathy is a natural ability from a highly evolved primitive human, or B, a more supernatural or spiritual ability they developed? We're going to go with A more natural ability from a highly evolved primitive human, and ChatGPT says natural telepathy and primitive. If Bigfoot is a surviving hominid, it's very possible they evolved communication methods human once had but lost, just like animal species. Think of it this way. Hey, this is actually interesting, this part. So grab some popcorn. We're going to kill a few minutes with this. This is kind of cool. Think of it this way. Migratory birds navigating using magnetic fields. Sharks detect electrical signals in the water. Elephants communicate miles away through infrasound. Primates predict each other's intentions extremely well. None of it is supernatural. It's biology. So Bigfoot could have an advanced form of nonverbal communication that as we interpret as telepathy. What this ability might actually be. And here's something the Bigfoot community is either pro or against. You know, there's not a lot of me who are kind of in the middle. But here are the leading ideas researchers suggest. Infrasound communications. Bigfoot might communicate like elephants, big cats, some primates. I personally did not know primates could use infrasound, but now I just learned something. Infrasound can travel long distances, cause emotional reaction in humans, trigger fear or unease, feel like a voice in your head. So maybe I got a nice little dose of infrasound while I was sitting in my car ready to beep a horn at a 8.5-foot monkey that could have peeled it like a tuna can and had me for dinner. Extreme sensory perception. A primitive human species could have heightened pattern recognition, ability to read micro expressions, which if you're out in the woods and just learning animal body language for survival, I'm sure you are very aware of every little move, twitch, eye movement, whether they're relaxed, whether they're ready to pounce. It's just like being able to read a big cat. If it's laying down on its side, you're okay, but as soon as it goes to put its back legs underneath it, now you got to watch that big cat because he's getting ready to pounce. It could also be biologically driven intuition, instant threat detection, ability to sense intention, pre-speech cognitive skills. Humans had this once, but we lost it when civilization softened survival pressures. Bigfoot may have kept it. Let's see what Bigfoot thinks. What are possibilities of what Bigfoot is? So we have 5 possibilities, according to ChatGPT, of what Bigfoot is, which I only thought there were 2. Great ape or 3, I'm sorry. Number 1, an unknown great ape species. What it would mean, a large undiscovered primate similar to gorillas or orangutans, lives in remote forests, also close to humans, extremely elusive and avoid human contacts. The strengths toward that explains size, strength, and footprints. Fits how gorillas were once mythical until the early 1900s. Simple biological explanation. Weaknesses, no bones or DNA found. That's crap. They've had bones. Now, and the Smithsonian let them disappear. And what's to say these giant bones that they're finding aren't Bigfoot if the DNA is that close? And other DNA has been found that it turns around and comes back as an unknown primate. I get that you have to have a source in order to compare it, but to say it, you should at least elaborate on no DNA found. You should elaborate the unknown primate at that point. It could be number two, a surviving primitive human hominid. This is the theory many researchers privately lean toward. I don't know how private they are. Homo erectus, Denisovans, and Homo heidelbergensis. The strengths toward that explains the human faces, explains intelligence, stealth, and tool use. I don't know if I've heard about Bigfoot using tools. If anybody knows about tool use besides tree knocks and stuff like that, let me know. Explains mind speak or nonverbal communication, matches behavior better than the ape theory. It's hard to explain. The weakness is hard to explain why no remains, would require a hidden population in remote wildernesses. That's not really that hard with the gorillas as a contradiction. A human-ape hybrid lineage. Here we go. Now we got inbreeding. It's not a myth. Something like this happens in nature when hybrid zones exist in primates. Ancient hominids interbred. Denisovans and Neanderthals mixed with early humans. Didn't know that. Explains combination of human and ape traits. Could explain unusual vocalizations and height. Explains powerful build with intelligent behavior. Weaknesses. Hybrid species usually can't sustain a large breeding population, would still need a hidden breeding group. Number 4, it's misidentified species. Bear standing out, elk in shadows, humans in ghillie suit hoaxes. The weaknesses in that is it does not explain consistent human-like face description, does not explain the mind speak reports, does not explain footprints with mid-tarsal breaks, does not explain large creatures seen at close range. This theory fails for many detailed sightings. Number 5, last but not least, that we'll tie this up with, is it's a non-physical paranormal explanation. Which, if it's non-physical, how does it leave behind footprints? Or there's a video on YouTube somewhere. If anyone finds it, please comment, send it to me, find me on Facebook and send it to me. But the boy filmed it on an iPad, and there's a video, and it's a Bigfoot doing a tree knock. And at first you could think, oh yeah, it's a human doing the bat. But then when you slow it down and look at it, and you realize it is quite big, tall, it is quite big, and the arms are incredibly long, because after it knocks, the boy makes a sound, and the Bigfoot panics, so it ducks behind trees, but it's standing between two trees fairly far apart, but it's got its hand on each tree, and it shows how incredibly long the arms are, and it's doing a dodging back and forth in between the trees. I've seen it 3 times, but I have not been able to find that video in the last year. So if it's non-physical, why does it leave footprints and possible sweet and low box presence as well? If it was non-physical, you definitely wouldn't need to relieve yourself anywhere. So the non-physical is not everyone's favorite, but some witnesses report sudden disappearance, strange lights, feeling of being watched, telepathy, environmental silence, possible interpretations being an interdimensional being, spiritual force entity, something similar to folklore like wild guardians. Weaknesses. hard to study scientifically, not supported by physical evidence. So, in ChatGPT's honest opinion, the most realistic possibilities are an unknown great ape species, a surviving primitive human hominin. Number 2 explains the eyewitness reports behavior and intelligence. So we could go down a huge rabbit hole just with GPT, Chat GPT, but I think that'll cover it for tonight. But to say there's no physical evidence, we already looked at one footprint tonight. Let's look at, let's see what this one is. Here's those that same footprint, but shown without the tape measure on it, shown how we found it, shown that there was actually 2 prints. For some reason, there's a wet area in the middle of the 2 prints with a fairly wide stance. This is a total stab in the dark, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think it peed there, and then it walks off. And if you notice where the impressions are in the leaves, it's close enough that it snaps a branch that you can see hanging down there. And then it also is walking toward a tree structure off in the distance. So there's some proof for ChatGPT. You tell me what makes a 23-inch footprint. Let's see. What's some more contradictory stuff we can throw at ChatGPT with a file? Oh, you know what? We can do that. Let's throw a picture at ChatGPT and have it explain what it is. This should be fun. So we will add a picture. Oops. Let's see. All photos, collections, favorites. Let's find that 23-inch print. Upload it. What can make this 23-inch footprint? So according to this, I'm full of crap. It doesn't see defined toes, which I beg to differ. I mean, are they show each knuckle and division between the toe? No, but you can see the toe outlines at the top. Let's put this back up while we talk about it. So if you look down in the left-hand corner, you can see it. And to me, that looks like, the left foot. You got the big toe, middle toe, and 3 toes. Well, 2 toes that look together, 1 little pinky toe on the outside. But ChatGPT says, from your photo, I can give you a realistic breakdown of what could make a 23-inch ground impression like that and what it doesn't appear to be. I'll keep it grounded, but also acknowledge the possibilities people consider in the field. The ruler shows about 23 inches. The print area looks like a flattened patch of leaf litter rather than a crisp footprint. No kidding. I don't see toe shapes, a heel outline. What? Arch or midfoot compression, specific direction, track shape. So this appears to be a large general depression rather than a defined footprint. But something big did step there. Or is it just really compressed spot? Most likely explanation. A deer repeatedly stepping or bedding. Deer often paw at the ground and return to the same spot. Their front and back tracks can flatten a 1 to 2 foot area. A bear standing or shifting weight. Black bears can leave large oval depressions when standing or when both feet overlap. A person with large boots. Someone's wearing winter boots, snowshoes, large work boots. An animal digging or scraping the leaf litter. Turkey, deers, raccoons, coyotes. Does it look like a Bigfoot print? For a Bigfoot style footprint, even skeptically, we'd expect at least one of the following: defined toes, heel shape, mid-tarsal break, clear direction of motion, secondary tracks nearby. Wow. Big Chat GPT's trying to shoot me down, but I'm not buying it. Let's do another picture. All photos. We are going to, collections. We'll do the 17-incher. That one's got a better definition of toes. Here we go. What made this 17-inch track? Looking closely at the shape, it is oval, rounded, not foot-shaped. No visible toes, heel arch. The outline looks soft and collapsed, which is common when snow melts around an object. The snow surface around it is powdery and sun-softened, meaning shapes distort quickly. This is not showing anatomical structure of a real footprint, but it's easily a large depression one can mistake for it. Okay, let's see if I can show this picture. People can there we go. Does that look like it is just an oval depression? Or does that look like toes? Does that look fairly deep? And does that look like a heel at the bottom? This is why, folks, AI will never, well, I take that back because AI is learning. So maybe we're teaching AI a thing or two about Bigfoot tonight. I think we are. ChatGPT probably just learned new information on Bigfoot thanks to the Bigfoot Outlaw Network. So hopefully when people watch this, if you're watching on Facebook, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking it out. If you get to watch it on YouTube, hopefully you had a good time and we were having a little fun with ChatGPT. Sorry we couldn't get David's internet figured out again. Wondering what is going on with that because his first interview went so flawless and then it kind of went down the gutter from there. But if you would please, remember, wellness show next week. We're focusing on the Ozempic, the Mounjaro, the new one that will be coming out. You know, I'm going to give you the scoop on that because Ozempic is the original. It's a GLP-1 antagonist. Mounjaro, trizipatide, which is the other name for it, is GLP-1, but it works on 2 different levels with fewer side effects. It's more effective. And the new one, the scientific name for it right now is retatrutide, and it is twice effective as either of the ones that are out now. And it is, I'm sure, will be a game changer, even more so than the last 2, because not only does it, in short, you know, curb cravings, curbs appetite, but it also helps you burn fat more effectively. So we'll be talking about that. Maybe we'll get David's internet figured out, but more than likely we're going to have a big surprise for you on the Bigfoot show. We're going to talk about an encounter. We'll have a couple special guests. We won't say who yet until Grizz and Mary put up the post for it. So we'll let that be a surprise. And from coast to coast, around the world, and around the internet. And again, thanks for putting up with me tonight. Sorry that this interview went down the thing, but still had some fun. We educated ChatGPT. Folks, have a great weekend. It is hunting season in Michigan. Please be careful. Do not pop off on something that you don't know what it is. So with that, take care. Have a great evening, and I will see you on Black Friday. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.